The following program is recorded content created by the Truth Network.
It's Matt Slick Live. Matt is the founder and president of the Christian Apologetics Research Ministry, found online at carm.org. When you have questions about Bible doctrines, turn to Matt Slick Live for answers. Taking your calls and responding to your questions at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. It's me, Matt Slick. And you're listening. I messed up already. You're listening to Matt Slick Live. Hey, today's date is 2/28, or last day of February 2025. So if you want to give me a call, all you got to do is dial 877-207-2276. I want to hear from you. Give me a call, and we will blab. We'll get through it. And if you want to email me, you can do that as well. All you have to do is direct an email to info@carm.org, info@carm.org, and you can put in the subject line radio comment, radio question, and hopefully that'll work out fine. Everything will be good. We can get to them. Usually get them on Fridays and things like that. So, all right. And let's just jump right on, and let's get to Alberto from Georgia. Alberto, welcome. You're on the air.
Yeah, good evening, Matt Slick. Yes, sir. Good evening. Why don't they make a capital punishment for all the lawyers, judges, and politicians, and mayors and governors that have murdered innocent little fetuses in the wombs, like 70 million of them? Why don't they make a capital punishment for them?
I don't know.
They murder innocent little babies.
Well, yeah, maybe
Genesis
we should.
chapter 9, verse 6. Right?
Yeah, maybe we should. I don't know. It's just something to talk about, to see if that's doable. All right, but why don't
they make it the law of the land? Go ahead.
Why? Wait. Okay. You say why don't they? Then you're saying you're asking
Supreme Court
do it. Why does the government do it? Why does the courts do it? Why don't the states do it? Well, that's something you have to talk to them about. I don't know why. I'm not a political analyst, but that's what I would say is, it should be abortion should be illegal. Killing babies should not be legal. Yeah, I'm with
right.
you.
So we should sentence them to prison for 30, 50 years. Each mayor and governor, politician, lawmakers, send them to prison because they're the ones who legalize all these murders and innocent little babies, right?
Well, yeah, you can make a good case for that. Absolutely. Yep. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Okay, my other question is this. Yeah. Okay, my other question is this. Why do people say the pen is mightier than the sword?
It's an expression of training people and getting them to think and to learn. And so what is written often is more powerful than fighting. That's what the point is. Oh,
I always thought that the sword gave the power to the pen. That's why the pen is more modern than the sword, because it wasn't for soldiers and military guys that fought in the wars.
No.
The president, when he signs the signature, whatever, to pass a law, whatever, that wasn't for the sword. The pen wouldn't have that power. It would be modern than the sword. That's what I always thought.
No, it has to do with the idea.
Oh, that's not that.
Yeah, with ideas and things like that. Okay, that's what's going on with it. All right? No big deal.
All right. Okay. Thank you, sir. God bless you. Keep it a great word, Matt Slick.
All right, man. Well, God bless. Thanks a lot. Okay.
All right.
All right. That was Alberto from Georgia. And now let's get to Spencer from North Carolina. Spencer, welcome. You're on the air.
Yes. I'm calling because I'm confused in which Bible that I should turn to study. I remember once on one of your live shows you talked about the King James Version, how there's some verses in there that aren't correct because of the translation from the Greek to Latin. So what version of the Bible should I study? The ESV or the New Revised King James? I'm curious. What your advice on that would be?
What I'd recommend is you get 3 Bibles. You get the NASB, the ESV, and then a third Bible that you think is just useful. You can get the NIV, you can get the New King James, things like that. So there's options there. The NASB is intended to be literal, and that's the one I've been using for decades, and that's what I love, the NASB 95. And I don't like the these and thous, because we don't say these and thous when you go out witnessing to people. You don't talk like that. So why use the King James for that? It doesn't make any sense. And the ESV is pretty good. A lot of people like it, but I'm kind of anal in that I judge all Bibles by Romans 5:18. I want to know what they do with Romans 5:18. And only the NASB gets it right. The other translations, well, not only, a couple other translations get it right. But the ESV weakens it. And it's a critical verse because it tells me what methodology they're using for translation. And the ESV is very good Bible, but I preach out and teach out of the NASB 95. That's just my opinion. Okay. Right.
Okay. And what was that verse again?
Romans 5:18.
That you say is...
Yeah. But what it says in the Greek literally is, through one transgression, condemnation to all men, so also through one act of righteousness, justification of life to all men. That's what the literal Greek says. There's no verb there. Well, what it actually is saying is through one transgression, and then there's just a verb place. We had to put a verb in there. Okay, through one transgression, condemnation to all. Well, there resulted condemnation to everybody, because Romans 5:19, the next verse says, through one transgression, the many were made sinners. Through his sin, Adam's sin, the many were made. Aorist passive indicative, in that they were made sinners. So Romans 5:18 and 19 go together, and Romans 5:18 says, as through one transgression, condemnation to all. The right verb is it resulted in condemnation to all. But the next part of the verse is what's difficult, because it says, through one act of righteousness, that's Jesus' sacrifice, then you have the verb place again, and it says, justification of life to all. Well, justification is salvation. So the second part of Romans 5:18 is a reflection of the first part of Romans 5:18. Sentence A, sentence B, joined by conjunction in that verse. And so the translators look at sentence B and then interpret the verse in light of sentence B, not in sentence A. And because they don't understand what God is doing in the text, and so they make a mistake and they put in their interpretation in the translation. That's what the ESV and the NIV do, and I just reject that. So I use the NASB because it gets it right, and then through that proper translation, we learn other theology that you won't get if you don't really study hard. Okay? All right? That makes sense. Okay. An article on it.
So you're saying that in... Okay, great. I'll look that up. So I want to make sure I'm hearing this right. Is it NESB as in boy or V as in Victor?
New American Standard Bible. NASB.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's
NASB.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. They have a 2020 version, and they have a 1995. And either one's good. I use the 95 just because that's what I've been using for a long time. Have things memorized out of that.
Okay.
So, and either one's good. And the ESV.
And then you
good.
say the New King James.
Yeah, you could try the New
to
King
study
James
out of, right?
Well, I would recommend all three. I would use the NASB as a more literal translation, and then when you go to a different Bible and they're not quite exactly the same, why? And you have to understand something about translation. Like, for example, in Spanish, to say "I'm hungry," you say "Yo tengo hambre," but what it literally is in the Spanish is "I have hunger." Yo, I tengo, I have.
Right.
Hambre, hunger. I have hunger. Well, if you translate literally, you say I have hungry or hunger. But we don't talk like that. We say I have hunger. That's more, okay, it's smoother, but what we really say is I'm hungry. So then it gets smoother and smoother. Right. So the NASB is like the first translation of the English. It's trying to be a little bit more literal. The ESV is a little bit closer to a smoother version, and the NIV is even further closer. So it just depends what you're looking for. Me, I want literalness as much as possible. And Laura, she says the LSB What does the LSB stand for? Luther Legacy Standard Bible. I think because it's based off the NASB and puts in Yahweh as instead of Lord, which I like too. So I may move over to the LSB because it's just the NASB, which is it's the same thing. So okay.
And then just the old King James Standard Version. That's what I've always grew up with.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, but it gets Romans 5:18 real wrong.
We don't
for example.
speak. We don't. Okay, and we don't speak like that anymore.
Right. I remember once I was using the King James.
Well, thank you
and I was
so
in Southern
much.
California. In Southern California, I went to the beach and I quoted a verse out of the King James, and the guy looked at me like, "What are you doing, dude? Man, we don't talk like that." And it just stunned me. And I said, "That's it. I will never do that again." Yeah. So. Okay.
Great insight. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, God
Have a
bless.
good night.
Okay.
God bless you.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Okay, you too. Thanks, bye. All right. If you want to give me a call, the number is 877-207-2276. Why don't you give me a call? Let's get to Jamal from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Jamal, welcome. You're on the air.
Good evening, Matt Slick. Thank you for taking my call. Always a pleasure as usual, sir.
Hey, I like talking to you too, buddy. So what do you got, man?
That's good to hear. Before I forget this, you had talked to a lady that was trying to push for women pastors, and how did the conversation go? Oh, yes. She said that, well, what if your community has a lot of their men locked up? I said, what? That's still no excuse. If there's some men left, then, as Matt Slick would say, those men need to step up. That's right. Unless every man is locked up, you still have some men that should step up.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, see, people, what they'll do is they'll say, well, the circumstances warrant us going against God's word. That's what they're doing. And I think I said to her, I said, I'd fly out there and spend 2 weeks out there and examine men and make sure that they're good and raise up a few and appoint a few and come back out in 2 months, and make sure they're good and, and work with them. It's not that hard. They just need to be devoted to the King of the universe and humble before God. That's what we need. Now, teach them how to preach, teach them how to teach, teach them how to do. I would do that with people. I'm not saying I got it all down. I'm perfect, but we don't need to have women there. We don't need it because the Bible says no. Okay.
Yeah, but plain and simple. I was going to paraphrase that for you, but I'm glad you reiterated that because, of course, you said it better than I would have paraphrased. Let's see. So for my question, and hopefully this isn't blasphemy, it's just something I was thinking about, and I'm not really into annihilation. It's just, again, something I'm trying to wrestle with. If
I can help you out why it's a problem, but go ahead.
Okay, all right. If somebody is sent to hell, and it is said that they burn forever, all eternity, how do we... Hold
on, buddy. We got to break.
I hear the music.
Here's the music. Okay,
yeah.
Come on. Hold on. We'll get back to it right after because it's going to make some good discussion here already. So we'll be right back.
All right.
All right. Hey, folks, hold on, and we'll get back to Jamal a little bit. If you want to give me a call, the number is 877-207-2276. We'll be right back.
It's Matt Slick Live, taking your calls at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the show. If you want to give me a call, all you have to do is dial 877-207-2276. Let's get back on with Jamal. Hey, buddy, you're back on, man.
Hey, okay. So with annihilation, I guess,
right.
And I kind of struggle to use that term, but if somebody goes to hell and said that they burn forever, could it not be that they get some kind of temporary punishment, and then, okay, sorry for your luck. This is what you did. This is your punishment. Now I'm going to erase you from existence because to burn forever is terrible. Okay,
there's a problem with that. See, the reason they would be punished is because they broke the law. That's what sin is. So they'd be punished according to the law, which means they would then fulfill the requirements of the law, having satisfied God by their suffering, by the law. Well, if that's the case, why are they annihilated? Why aren't they redeemed? Because they then have met the requirement of the punishment due to the law breaking. See, it's a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, annihilationists don't have some annihilationists hold that position and don't have a good answer for it. Now, here's another thing. Always in the Bible, punishment is experienced. And I did research on this. I've looked at different words for punishment. I wrote 182 articles related to the issue of annihilationism. 182. And so, I've really gone through it quite a bit. Now, here's the thing, is that I just thought of something. But anyway, punishment is experienced. We don't find any place in the scriptures where someone who's punished, they don't get punished. What? So you apply to annihilationism. They say that punishment is non-existence. Well, how is non-existence a punishment?
Right.
See, you're not experiencing anything. So here's a logical dilemma. So I'm going to say condition 1, condition 2, condition 3 in time. Okay. Condition 1 is non-existence. That's before you're born, before you exist. Condition 1 is just nothingness. There's nothing. There's nothing. It's not punishment. It's not reward. It's just nothing. Condition 2 is you're alive, and let's say you're going to be annihilated. Okay, you're a bad guy, and then that's condition 2. Okay, you die, and then condition 3 is annihilation. It's nothing. It's exactly the same thing as condition 1.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
So, if condition 1 and condition 3 are identical, then how is it that condition 3 is punishment when condition 1 is not?
Oh, man.
It's a logical problem. Furthermore, now what they'll do is they'll say the word eternal is aionios, okay, or eternity of eternities, aionios ton aionion, forever and ever. They'll say that. And they'll say aionios deals with the word age, and it's correct. They do. It deals with the word age. And they'll say the ages of the ages. So you'll be punished for an age, and then you're set free. Universalists use this argument, and the annihilationists kind of borrow some of those arguments. And so they'll say, well, you'll be punished for a while, then you're annihilated, which we had that first problem we talked about. Or they'll say that some annihilationists will say, excuse me, I had a hiccup there. Some will say that when you die, you just cease existing because that's your judgment. Well then, but you don't experience anything. There's no punishment. It's just nothing. Just nothing. Right? That doesn't make any sense. So then people say, he'll destroy your soul in Hades. Yeah, what does the destruction mean? And then I did searches on the word destruction. I mean, I really did a lot of research. A lot. And there's different kinds of destruction. Oh, the word has a wide variety of meanings. I'm not saying we just transfer the meanings around different places, but I'm just saying you can't say destruction means non-existence. They assume it does, Beware the one who could destroy both body and soul in hell. See? That means they both cease to exist. Well, where does it say they cease to exist? That's what destruction means. Ooh. Really? Well, then why they wanted to destroy Jesus? Or a wineskin is destroyed, but it's still sitting there. When it bursts open, it's destroyed, but it's still there. So I'm just saying you can't say that. And so what they'll do is they just read into the text and say, that's what it means. Well, how do you know it's what it means? They just assert that it is. And then sometimes they say, well, it's just too horrible a thing to go on forever. So I say, okay, so then you're saying based on your personal preferences, that's why it's not going to be forever, because this is too horrible. That's you talking. Nothing in the Bible says, thou shalt not be suffering forever, for it is too horribleth. Nothing says that. So the annihilationists don't realize they are inserting into the text a great deal of meaning. It's bad. And we have in 2 Peter 2:9, the present punishment of people. I mean, I did a lot of research on this stuff. I did a great deal of research. And so, annihilationism, in my opinion, is very unbiblical and needs to be abandoned. It needs to be annihilated. How about that?
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's a brilliant pun. That was just so good. I'm proud of myself. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hopefully, your wife can come in there and say that was a good one, because I know she has some things that she does not agree with. You know, that whole rubbing the forehead that you talk about.
Yes, that's right. Or she gives me that, that eyelids that are half masked while they're staring through your soul. You know, those wives can do that kind of thing. Yeah, she'll do that to me sometimes too, and I just turn around. What I try and do is walk backwards without going up and down as I walk. Just kind of glide backwards and go back out of the room. Just like
there you go, like Homer Simpson into the hedges.
That's right. That's right. Just like Homer into the hedges, just disappear. That's it.
Well, while your wife has been talked about, I am a proponent of her being on the radio. So if you can make that happen, that'll be very nice.
I keep talking to her about it, and I'll tell her this was an unsolicited thing that you said that.
There you go.
She has so many medical problems, so many things she's suffering through. And I said, hon, look, just call in, and she and I will just be talking on the phone. That's all it's going to be. And she's so, she's terrified of public speaking. I love public speaking because we're opposites. It's just talking. It's whatever. So, and she has a good radio voice. See, I have a face for radio, but she has a face for TV. She's good looking. She looks good. I look like a bag of logs that's rolled down a hill through a mossy swamp and then landed on there, and some bullocks, had fun with the bag afterwards. That's what I look like.
I hear you. It's not that bad, I'm sure. But I see we're up against the clock here. Do you mind if I shout out a few Bible studies and churches?
Hey, man, go for it, buddy.
All right, good deal. I'm going to start off with Center Grove Church out in Clemens, North Carolina. Also, Pinedale Church in Winston-Salem. What's another one? Forgive me if I first forget one, guys. But another one that I'm thinking about, or a couple I'm thinking about, Roy and Kathy Morgan. Love y'all and appreciate knowing y'all. And as always, Stu Epperson and shouting out Matt Slick. Oh, yeah, I knew I forgot something. I've now become a monthly supporter. So get on that, guys.
Oh, man, you're awesome, buddy. But there's the music, man.
Matt Slick. All right. God bless.
God bless, Jamal. Appreciate it. All right. Hey, folks, be right back after these messages, so please stay tuned.
It's Matt Slick Live, taking your calls at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the show. It's bottom of the hour. If you want to give me a call, the number is easy, 877-207-2276. Let's get on the air with, next longest waiting is Jim from Virginia. Jim, welcome. You're on the air, man. Hello? Are you there?
Right. Hello?
Yes. There you go.
Matt,
So what do you got, man?
Virginia. When you was talking about the translations,
Yes.
are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I hear you.
Okay, have you ever read anything about the different translations? Like it says here, the most provocative pamphlet written on Bible versions.
No,
I have looked into a lot of this because like when it says things like the virgin birth or the deity, the redemption things, it's changed. It's changed.
For example, what verse?
Okay, I'll give you an example. Like I say, a young virgin will bear a child, it'll change to a maiden.
Okay.
I listened to you the other day. You were talking to this guy. He sounded like a Jesus monk or something. But they're actually going out and changing the Bible version to water down the word. Okay, I'll give you another example.
Well,
I was going to tell you, Jonathan was speaking on Genesis, in Genesis 2:22, when it says, When Isaac told Abraham, he said, "My father, the wood and the fire." He said, "Where's the lamb?" Well, the King James says God will provide himself a lamb. And the New Version will say it will provide a lamb. That's just like any other religion trying to do something. It has to be the Lamb of God to take away the sin that's provided. Look into the different versions, if you would.
Okay, hold on. Do you have a question?
Okay, yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
The pamphlet, when you were talking, I wanted to see, have you ever looked into the different versions to see the word being watered down, the virgin birth?
Okay, so hold on. Okay. Yes, I have heard that there are people who say that modern translations water down the word. Yes, I am familiar with that. Mm-hmm. Okay,
all right.
so
Well, then I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, I don't buy into it. Okay.
Well, I have looked into it. I see the difference.
But hold on.
I'm not.
Hold on a second.
Go ahead.
Okay, hold on. All right.
Yeah.
So when things are written, let me give you an example of something, how it works in history.
I'll give you an example. When it says in the Bible,
hold on. You need to slow down. Let me get a word in edgewise, okay? All right? Are you there? Okay, guess he's not there. We'll move on. All right, let's get to Richard from Ohio. Hey, Richard, welcome. You're on the air.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing all right, man. Hanging in there, buddy. What do you got?
I've got this question. It's been bothering me for a long time. It's basically about Noah and his family. It says when Noah got drunk and his sons came, one of his sons came in, Ham, and came in and saw him drunk and went and told everybody. Who did he go and tell? If they were the only people on the planet at the time after the flood.
Well, it says, and Ham saw it, he went and told the family members.
Oh, so it was his family he went and told, okay? Because the way, when I read it, it made it seem like he went and told the bar, and the homies at the club. And
no, it says in Genesis 9:22, Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brothers outside. That's what it says.
Okay, yeah.
That's right. And Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it upon their shoulders, and walked backward, and covered the nakedness of their father. And their faces were turned away, so they did not see their nakedness. Father's nakedness, okay?
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, sir.
All right, man. Well, God bless. Okay.
God bless.
All right. All right. Hey, folks, look, we got nobody waiting right now. If you want to give me a call, the number is 877-207-2276. Now, I wanted to finish up with that one caller, the idea of what was going on with this idea that modern translations water down the scriptures. Not the case. Now, let me give you an example of something, how things work, so you go, oh, I'm getting it. So let's say the Gospel of John is written by John, and there's the original copy. There it is. It's perfect. It's going to be copied. So they copy the Gospel of John. Whoever it is copies it, and say make 5 copies, and they send them out in different directions so that the churches can have these copies, and they can be taught out of them. All right, good. So let's say one of these copies ends up at a certain location, and it's kept at this location for, let's say, 300 years. Or 100 years, 150 years, okay? It doesn't matter. So just say 100 years. It's easy to number. It's kept there for 100 years, and they use it a lot. And it's getting a little bit fragmented. It's a little bit worn out. Okay, well, they make another copy. Well, let's just say that what they do, they copy not a whole scroll, but page by page. Let's say that the guy copying it made a mistake, and they catch the mistake. And then what they do is they write in the margin. They might write a little something in the margin. This is a little correction thing. And so they use that as a teaching aid, but not as an equivalent of the pureness of the original writing. But they'll say it's a copy, but it got a little error. They don't have backspace on a computer like we do. They had to scratch it out or make a marginal note. Well, the more copies are used this way, the more marginal notes can be there. Let's say someone writes a marginal note about something and makes a commentary, a little something in there, just a couple of words, 3 words or something like that. Jesus is God, let's just say it. or they add something in as a commentary and a note that he's making for something teaching later on, or some note. Well, this manuscript gets put away and is forgotten and later is discovered. And then someone says, oh, look at this marginal note. It belongs inside the text. So they include it in the text instead of not realizing that it didn't belong in the original text. So they might have a clarification like Jesus is God. You know, no marginal text says that exactly like that, but I'm just using this as an example. And so they put in, when none of the translations comes up in the copying, they include the marginal note in the text. So the idea here is that the longer this goes on, the more the possibility is of an occasional something being added in. So you might have a 5th century or 7th or 8th century document that might have a couple additional things in the margins that got included. So the King James was translated with basically 5th, 6th, 7th century documents. That means it had 500 years, roughly 400 years to 500 years, for marginal notes kind of thing to be crept in. Well, the modern translations use older manuscripts, and the older the manuscript is, the general rule is, the better it is. So an older manuscript won't have some of the things that were added. It's not like a whole bunch, it's just a few things, and that might have crept into the text. And so the King James is translated with documents that are old, that are newer, where the modern translations are translated with things that are way earlier, hundreds of years earlier. So they're going back to the original text, with some of these marginal notes are removed. And so the King James people or adherents will say, hey, you see, the modern translations take things out of the Bible, and they don't understand this is the reason, this is the problem that they have to begin with. Okay? I hope that made sense. It's kind of hard to explain it, but it's a simplified version of what's going on. And why they do that. So the general rule is that the older the manuscript, the more accurate it's going to be. But don't think that the New Testament, for example, is all corrupted and all these additions everywhere. It's not like that. It's only a very few places where there's any discussion or debate about various issues. So the ending of Mark is one of them. The Comma Johanneum in 1 John 5:7. These three to bear witness, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, these three are one. That's not found in some of the oldest manuscripts. Some think it's a marginal note, and so it might be included in the King James, but it's not in the, let me get to it. In fact, in the King James, I'll show it to you. I'll read it to you. 1 John 5:7. There are three that bear witness, record in heaven, the Father, and the Word, and the Holy Ghost, and these three are one. Well, that's might have been a marginal note that someone added in, and then it became part of the King James corpus. But the older translators, or the modern translations that use older manuscripts, don't have that in there. And so they will omit that because it's not found in some of the older ones. That's all. A few late manuscripts, here's my notes in NASB 95, a few late manuscripts add in heaven and the Father, Word, what I just read to you. So the later manuscripts are not as reliable as the early manuscripts. So it might be like the later manuscripts, reliability is like 99.5% accurate, where the older manuscripts, when you have everything, is like 99.7% accurate. It's just a nuance of even better, and that's the kind of thing that's going on. Hey folks, there's the music. We'll be back after the break. If you want to give me a call, the number's 877-207-2276. Be right back. Please stay tuned.
It's Matt Slick Live, taking your calls at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
All right, and welcome back to the end of, well, not the end of, but the last segment of the hour. If you want to give me a call, the number is 877-207-2276. Herb, you are on.
Hey, Matt. How you doing, buddy? How are you?
I'm all right.
Good.
So what do you got?
I understand. I just want to ask you a quick question. Many years ago, my mom gave me a Bible called the Living Bible. And I had heard in past years that the gentleman who wrote that Bible went deaf. And there was some talk that because he reworded some, how the Bible was actually written, that some people think that may have caused him to go deaf. Have you ever heard of that, or what's your feeling on the Living Bible?
No, I wouldn't say that. The Living Bible is just a paraphrase. It's not a direct translation. It's just something that a guy did to make it more understandable for his children. And I did the same thing when I would have my children at the dinner table. We'd go through stuff, and I'd read, glance ahead as I'm reading and rephrase it so that they could understand it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't believe he went deaf because of something like that. No.
That's what I was believing and thinking too, because I'm thankful that the gentleman did do that, because it makes it easier for reading too for me. Because I loved it. My mom gave it to me as a present, and I thought I'm gonna ask Matt about that. It could bother me for a while, and I heard y'all talking about different Bible versions today. Well, as always, Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure. And, it's okay as long as you know it's a paraphrase. Just get a couple, 3 different Bibles and go for it. Okay, not a big deal.
Okay, good. All right. Thank you, Matt. Have a good weekend, and God bless.
You too, man. Thanks a lot. God bless.
Yeah.
All right. So now let's get to Jim from North Carolina. Jim, welcome. You're on the air.
Thanks, Matt. I've got a question. This may not even be a biblical question, but it's sort of. I just like your opinion. But anyway, it has to do with the soul. And I was thinking about if you... the female, at conception, and then she goes, say, 6 months and has a miscarriage. And was that soul created already? When is the soul created? Do you know? Or do you have an idea, or is it anywhere in the Bible?
So the Bible doesn't tell us when a soul comes into existence, but the implication certainly seems to be at conception. The Elizabeth and Mary, when they got together, John the Baptist in the womb of Elizabeth leapt, moved with the presence of the Lord there in the womb. So there's something going on in there. So one view is called creationism, in that sense that God just simply creates the soul sometime in the womb, generally at conception, and it's a direct hand of God.
Yeah.
And then there's another view called traducianism, and that's the idea that the soul is generated by the fertilization of the egg. There it is. It's a natural process. So those are the two views: creationism, or creation of the soul in that context, and traducianism. But we don't know.
Well,
tell us.
My following question to that is, since the birth, there's not a birth, but there's a soul. Does that soul go to heaven?
I would say so, yes. I would say that they do. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Can't prove
that
it.
That was my main question.
Yeah, I can't prove they do or don't. But I believe that all the babies that die just go to heaven. I'm hoping that's true. If someone were to say defend it, I'd say really can't. It's just the position I hold to. And I hope it's right.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome very much. Well, God bless. Okay.
You too.
All right. Thank you. Now let's get to Greg from Ohio. Hey, Greg, welcome. You're on the air.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going, man. It's going. Doing radio on this lovely Friday.
I hope you had a chance to see the sunset tonight. It was beautiful.
Well, I'm in Idaho, but...
All right. Well, you haven't seen it yet. But in Ohio, it was beautiful.
Oh, good.
Just wanted to get with you. I had heard you mention your thoughts on the Catholic Church a little bit, and I was raised Catholic, and I've kind of walked away from it after listening to the Truth Network more and more. And I'm just curious if you think any Catholics are in heaven, and also wanted a little bit of just your thoughts on. I've got some family members that are diehard liberal Catholic, and just wanted to get your thoughts on that as well.
Okay. Well, what I say is that anyone who believes official Roman Catholic theology will go to hell. That's why I say official, and I mean they worship and serve Mary. They believe in the repeated sacrifice of Christ in the Mass that cleanses you repeatedly of sins. That you only cleanse for a little bit. You got to do good works in order to be saved. Along with this stuff, all this is false stuff, and those are it's a false gospel, false Mary, and they have a false priesthood. So if they believe in official, they just believe official stuff. No, they're lost. But there could be lots of Christians who are going to heaven, of Catholics, who are going to heaven, in spite of Roman Catholic theology. So it is certainly possible.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear you say that. So, yeah. I agree. I know, I very much agree with your thoughts on that. Those are the main reasons I walked away from the Catholic Church. So
good. Yeah, it's a false church. It's an apostate false church. It teaches a false gospel, a false priesthood, and a false Mary. And it's bad. In the priesthood, I include in that the Eucharistic stupor that they do, and they misunderstand stuff. They don't get it. And their sacrifice in the priesthood, you have to go back weekly because it's like the Old Testament priest. You have to go back over and over and over for sacrifice and cleanse it again and again. They don't have the one true sacrifice. They don't understand. They're lost. Yeah, among other things.
Right.
Same with the Eastern Orthodox. Okay?
Yep.
All right, buddy. Is that good?
Yeah. Any thoughts on, the liberal view? I just can't understand calling yourself a Catholic or even a Christian and the liberal view. I just wanted to see what your thoughts were on that.
Literal view of what?
Liberal,
liberal. Sorry,
diehard Democrat. Depends. Yep. Nope, my fault.
No, it's okay. If they're, I don't understand how a true Christian could be a Democrat. I'm serious, because the Democratic Party is pro-slavery, pro-homosexual, pro-abortion.
Right.
How could you be a Christian and belong to that? I just don't get it. So
I'm trying to figure it out myself, and I don't get it either.
Yeah, it's bad. So they need to repent of that, and I'm not a Republican either. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'm an independent.
Right.
But so that's me. Yeah. And I'm a constitutional.
I'm the same way. I'm not a diehard Trumper.
Yeah, he's good insofar as he holds to the Constitution. That's it.
Sure.
So, okay.
All right, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, man.
Thank
God
you.
Bless. Okay.
You too. Bye.
All right. Bye. All right, we got nobody waiting, but we do have a starred question. We have some questions that come in, and I'm going to get this one. What's my relationship with Sean McCraney? I haven't talked to him for a few years now, so I don't know. All I know about Sean McCraney, I hope he's somehow by chance listening in Salt Lake City, but he went off the deep end theologically, and pretty bad. So there you go. All right, bad. All right. Hey, let me give you a heads up on this week. I was the board of directors and we were at the National Religious Broadcasting Network. They're outside of Dallas, Texas, in Grapevine, and I got back late last night. So it was really interesting. There were hundreds of booths and stuff, and I just walked around and made a lot of interesting contacts, some great conversations. One great one was I met a woman who overheard me witnessing to a Seventh-day Adventist guy. I'm always witnessing. And she heard me say hypostatic union, and she clued in on that phrase. She goes, people don't say that, And she said, I was listening to you, and you got it right. She looks down at my name badge, and she goes, oh, it's... Now I know why. She goes, I know you are. And so that was fun. And we exchanged phone numbers and stuff. And so she's got some great information. We hope to be interviewing her on some stuff. There was a lot of good stuff. A lot of good people there. There was some wackos there. One guy had this big thing on a chart. Jesus is coming back in 6 years. That's it. It's coming back in 6 years. So he'll be back here in 2032. That's just how it is. Okay. And we got talking, and real quickly, I said to him, well, part of our conversation, I said, in Matthew 12, 22 through 32, Jesus says Satan was already bound. And he says, no, he didn't. I don't accept that. I said, but let's take a look. He said he had to cast out demons. In order to do that, the strong man, talking about Satan, has to first be bound in order for him to cast out demons. He was doing it, so he's bound. He goes, I don't accept it. And he walked off. It was really interesting. And some other stuff that this guy rejected. And then I'm going to put my phone up to the camera that I have here. Oh, come on, there we go. That there was this one booth. And let's see, I'm going to put this up here. I don't know if you guys can see it. If it's backwards, it looks like it is, yeah, on the phone. Let me see if I can mirror this so that I can get it to, let's see if I can do this, mirror my camera. I'm going to try this. Let's see how that looks. Oh, that looks better. At least I'm thinking it looks better. So we'll see how it comes through. Daily decrees for divine healing. They had this whole booth on that. And, oh, man, it was so bad. Daily decrees for divine healing. And so I took a picture of it. Let's see, what else does it say? Your decrees for it. It's like, you don't decree anything. It's just ridiculous. I gave her the side eye. I saw her, the author, this big booth and all this stuff. I gave her a side eye. I'm like, oh, man. So that was, it's like so much heresy, so little time. And there was a Seventh-day Adventist guy there. He didn't know how to answer certain theological questions. And that happens. I talked to a guy that his ministry is reaching out to the youth on campuses. Awesome. It was great. Living Waters was there, and they know who I am, and been down there before. Great guys. We got talking for a while. That was great. And the crew from Truth Network was down there. They had a really nice booth set up. That was great. We had a lot of good stuff. It was great. It's expensive doing that, I'll tell you. But we made some good connections. And we don't do it for making money. We do it for connections, get Carm out there, learn, cross-pollinate. Those kind of things are always good. And we had a great time. So it was Dave and Charlie and myself. We went there. We all shared a room. And had to rent a car. And it was great weather down there in Dallas. I really enjoyed it. I had a good time. The food was good, and fellowship was good. And we had a lot of good stuff going on there. So hopefully, and here's one of the things I want to do. We're going to get this set up later, but I want to start doing some video interviews, not just radio, but on video, where we actually have somebody on for an hour, and we just go through, and I ask them questions, and I interview that person on that particular topic, and we're going to have a bunch of them. We're going to do it once a week. Have an evening interview thing set up. That's what we want to do. So, hey, there you go. All right, there's the music. I'm out of time. May the Lord bless you. I just want to let you know that we stay on the air by your support. Please consider supporting us. All you got to do is go to carm.org/donate. We do need that help. And may the Lord bless you. Have a great weekend. And by His grace, by His grace, we're back on the air on Monday. We'll talk to you then. God bless everyone.
Another program powered by the Truth Network.